guys. Keep loading. Keep it going. Okay, see? We're running at 50 a minute, Danny, just so you know.
I'm with Tom McClure at Pack Expo 2016. We're in the Barrington Packaging Systems Group booth. How are you, Tom?
Real terrific. Booth 9727E is having a lot of traffic and a lot of business today.
And I see you have a flow wrapper here in the booth. Let's talk about this.
It's one of many good fine machines we sell. It's an all stainless steel BPS 350 flow wrapper. Very popular for things like cookies, brownies, bar products like that. Anything flat and solid. It's got a number of very good features. It's got a sensor that detects if there's no product. It won't pack film. This one's got a date coder, so it'll do a date code and a lot number. It has what we call a top chain conveyor. This is some people call it a brush conveyor. What this does is put gentle pressure on the product to take excess air out of the package. As the package goes through, it also holds the product steady till it gets into the sealing jaw, and it goes right on out. Now this machine will go about 180 packages per minute. Most of our customers can't feed it that fast, but it's a very reliable little workhorse.
So, Tom, if somebody wants to get a hold of you guys at Barrington Packaging Systems Group, what would they do?
They can call us directly at 888-814-7999. My extension is extension 2 if you want to talk to me personally. Or you can write sales at bpsgusa.com.
And that's the website, bpsgusa.com.
That's correct.
Thanks so much, Tom.
Okay, Danny.
Start the machine.
Make sure the label's going on, Danny. Okay, now you can come over here and look. You'll see them coming off the machine just like they should be. I'm going to throw a couple up on top here, quick as I can grab them anyways. Here, I'll just throw some up here. Or here, I'll hold one up for you. All right, so here we go. This is what you're getting right there. The label like that. All right, and as you can see, it just keeps right on rocking and rolling, just like it ought to. There you go, coming right off the end of the jaw, just like they're going to want it to come on. Okay? And that, by the way, is at 60 a minute.
Okay, we're with Larry Pence from Barrington Packaging Systems Group. We're talking about the Met Speed labeler. Go ahead, Larry, let us know what we're going to talk to Chuck about for that labeler.
Yeah. Hey, Danny. Hey, Chuck. I know you're looking at the video. What we're going to be doing, Chuck, is we need to apply a label in this area on the roll of film, and basically what we're going to do is it's going to travel down, and we're going to use this roller, which is already here, to go ahead and set the label on the film so that it doesn't come off. So we don't have to have a pressure type roller other than whatever's required to get it stuck onto the roll of film to start with. Bracketing wise, you've got some area here you can use on top or on the side of the machine over here. Danny, take a shot over here. Or we can mount some things over here. So these are the two areas that we can use. Now, every machine will have that ability. Some machines will have some bracketing up here that we could possibly use, but again, this bracket won't be on every machine, so I prefer to use the first option, which was the areas that I had shown you previously. Great. Thank you.
Barrington Packaging Systems Group presents the latest addition to our full line of flow wrappers, the BPS 400X Servo Inverted Flow Wrapper. It's a bottom film flow wrapper where the product rides on the film instead of on a conveyor. This makes it ideal for wrapping irregularly shaped products or multiple items in the same package. The BPS 400X Servo wraps at a machine speed of up to 200 packages per minute. And as a servo flow wrapper, it offers greater speed, reliability, and quick product changeovers made on the touchscreen. Like all Barrington flow wrappers, the BPS 400X Servo is value priced and fully featured. All stainless steel construction, no product, no film, and registered wrap are all standard equipment. And it's backed by the best warranty in the packaging industry, all parts plus technical support for a full 2-year period. So call Barrington today at 888-814-7999 and let us show you the wrapper that's right for your needs.
production facility where we're looking at and working on the BPS 350. Larry, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Danny. How are you, sir?
Doing great, doing great. So what are we working on today?
All right. The reason we're here is I want to do a short video to show our customers and potential customers how to align the mid-seal area heating bars so that if you have an issue with spacing or gapping, the customer can correct it themselves without having to have a maintenance guy come out and spend that extra money. And this holds true for most of the flow wrappers, not only ours, ours, but other customers. So it's useful across the board, Danny. All right, so the first thing I would like to show everybody is that if you're going to have a problem with the machine, you're usually going to have bunching of your mid-seal seam, as you can see right here where my hand is showing. Kind of hard to see with clear film, but it is there. And what you'll notice then, if you come over here with the camera, what you're going to notice is that in this area here, as the film goes through, you're going to find that it's going to want to try to bunch or drag. And that's what we're going to work on today. Bunching and dragging in this area after you've made all your other adjustments and nothing else works. At that point, more than likely, it's just a simple adjustment. All right, so here we go. The first thing that I would want everybody to do is to work on the machine with the power either off, preferably off, but in this case you're going to have it on, and also with the heaters cold. You don't want to have the heaters hot because I don't want anybody to get burned. All right, so first of all, what we would do on our particular machine is you're going to have your heaters turned on here normally when you notice the problem. So we would turn the heaters off, just 2 simple clicks of a button. Now you only need to do the mid-seal heater because the in-seal heater, we won't be working with it today, but I'm going to go ahead and turn both of them off on our machine. The second thing that we would do is we would have to raise our top chain conveyor and then get to our work area. So it's just a simple knob here in the back. And here it's just simply a knob, knurled knob, that we would literally loosen up. That allows you to rotate the device to an angle so that when I'm ready to lift my top chain conveyor, I can lean it back against my rollers and it will be out of the way of our work area. All right, so I'm going to raise it on up here for you just to show you. Got a nice angle, and it's not going to fall down and get in our way. So that's the first step that we would want to do. Next step is we will go ahead and we're going to have to remove the guides that we have in the mid-seal area. There are 4 on our machine. There are 4 wing nuts with washers, don't lose the washers obviously, that we're going to release. Now, I'm actually going to look at this because I get the right angle here and I can do it. On the back one, I'm just going to loosen these 2 because I've got 2 screws that I have to get to. So these screws being here, we need to remove both of these cover plates. So to do that, I'm going to simply gain access to the 2 screws that I have. I'm going to take those screws out. Now, one of the things that I will caution everybody is don't nick the screw surfaces, because if you do, it becomes sharp and it can rip your bag. If you do, just take a little bit of like 220 sandpaper and sand them down, and that will get rid of the burrs. Okay, so good maintenance tip there. All right, so I'm taking the cover off of this particular machine. All right, that's the first cover that I want to get off of. Now the second cover on this side, the one that's facing the operator, this bar that I took off, we're going to use this again in just a second, so I'm just going to set it aside. So got it over here out of the way, all right, and then we'll use it in a minute. Now I'm going to come back over to this cover, and I want to go ahead and take the 2 screws off that hold it in place so that we fully expose the underside of our mid-seal area. Now again, this is a production machine, so it's a little bit on the dirty side, but that's okay because that means they're using our machine, which is a wonderful thing. So we'll set the covers aside, and what I've exposed here is the 2 heating elements that we are going to be adjusting. That are these 2 devices here, the brass items. Now, normally these are hot, obviously, you wouldn't want to touch them, but I've just turned the machine on and they're nice and cool, which is how I prefer them to be. You'll notice that each block is held in place by 2 cap head screws, Allen head screws, here and here, here and here. These are what we're going to be loosening, and we're going to be adjusting this. The whole purpose of this is to get the correct gap between these whenever they close over the film, because the film runs right along here. We want these to have the correct gapping so that they apply the heat that we need without causing the film to drag in these 2 bars. And that's what happens. Over time, these 2 bars will kind of want to slip together because these bars are being opened and closed by a solenoid right here as the film is running through or when it's not. Obviously, we would have it open in this position whenever we are not running film so that we're not burning our film. So that being said, the next thing I want to show you, Danny, if you'll come around the front of the machine, is in the controls, how we control the solenoid. Now that we've got our heating elements for the mid-seal exposed, what we've got to do is, I want to show everybody on our BPS 350 flow wrapper how you actually control the solenoid. One of the nice things about our machine is that we allow you to go in and manually control that solenoid to make the adjustments. So it's actually kind of an ease of maintenance feature that we hold. So from our main screen, we would go to manual. And then from manual, there are a mid-seal action is what this bottom blue is we're talking about here. So we can actually open or close our mid-seal jaws. So if Danny, if you'll come around here and take a look, sealing bars I should say, as I turn this, you will see that I can open and close these bars. All right, so take a shot of that, Danny. See how I'm doing that? Open. So as you can see, I'm pushing the open and close radio buttons on my display panel, and it opens and closes my jaw. This is important because when we make the adjustment, that is how we will open and close, or I should say, this is how we duplicate the action of the machine when it's running so that we get a true adjustment. Where we're at, now that we've got our action exposed, what we're going to do is we're going to use the guide that we previously removed to set the correct gapping for our mid-seal heater bars. To do that, again, this gapping, this guide, excuse me, the thickness of this guide happens to be exactly what we're looking for, which is about 1/10 of an inch, give or take. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to be close, and this will give you enough gapping that on all the films that are recommended for our machine, you won't have drag through this area, which is what we're going for. So in order to do this, we're going to take this guide and we're going to bring it into the area where we're going to be doing our adjustment. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be sticking this guide between our film pulling rollers and our sealing rollers. So, and then of course that will allow the guide to go between our heater bars. So what we're going to do is we have a knob that we normally load our film with, and what you have to do is you have to move it all the way to the right. Now on the paper pulling wheels, it's a little hard to get it in. You got to give it a little bit of a push to get it going. But now that I have it here, now I'm going to go to my sealing rollers, and on that one I'll simply open it up and it will allow it to drop in. Now I'm not closing this, I'm just simply letting the normal spring tension hold my guide into place. The next step that I would do, now that I have my guide in place, and this gives me a completely perfect straight reference for my film going through, because that's another important aspect of aligning the mid-seal heater bars, is that they have to be parallel or in line with the film coming between the two rollers as it's being pulled along. Having said that, I will now go up to my display. I'm in my manual mode, and I will close my mid-seal action. So I'll do it one more time for you, Danny, while you're videoing. There it is open, and there it is closed. What I've done is I've allowed the solenoid to pull these jaws in against my guide. So by doing that, I'm going to duplicate or replicate the action that the machine normally does. In order to adjust the jaws, what you would do is you would then loosen the 4 set screws. There's 2 on each one. As you can see, I can move that jaw in and out now. Nice and easy. All you do, you loosen both sides, so we'll do it real quick. Just loosen up both sides. And then I will take the jaws and I will take my hands and I will just pinch them together. Obviously, without heat applied to these jaws, or you're going to burn yourself. All right, and then once I have them in and held, you just simply tighten your 4 screws down to complete the actual adjustment portion of this. So it's kind of hard to see with my hands in the way, but I'm just squeezing the jaws together and as I tighten those screws. Now that I have them tightened, and you don't want to over tighten, okay, I'm going to give them just a little bit of a tweak to make sure that they don't move in the future on my customer here. And then once I have them nice and tight, what I will do is I will remove my guide. So again, it's kind of reverse of how we put it in. We're going to open this up and lift the front side. We're going to pull the back and then just simply pull it out so that we have it. Now we have it out, Danny. And what I would want you to get a close-up of is I want you to look at my gapping now between my jaws. If you will look, you'll notice I have a nice even gap through here, because I use my guide as a reference, and this is plenty of room. You will see that my gapping now is set perfectly. I've got a nice perpendicular gap between my 2 heating elements, and they are perfectly in line with the movement of my film as it comes through my mid-seal area, and that's what you're looking for. The whole purpose of this was so that when your film is doubled up and you're going through your mid-seal, what you will see is that the film will fit through here, and I have no drag. So when the machine is running, what you'll see is that I've got a nice even tension here. My film is being pulled nice and tight, and I have no drag in this area. That's what you're going for. Now, one last point on this. If you make an adjustment here, you may have to adjust the temperature of your mid-sill heaters, because if they were too close before, the odds are you've adjusted your heat down because you're putting a lot of heat on there. After we've completed the alignment and we've removed our alignment tool, the next step that you want to make sure that you do is you're going to go into your manual settings and you're going to open your mid-sill action. And to do that, you simply come in here and push the open button and make sure that it says open next to it and not next to the closed.
And what happens if it is next to the closed
Okay,
and
Danny,
they forget to do this?
Yeah, if you forget to do it and you leave it in the closed, because this is a maintenance function, what will happen is the mid-sill heater elements will stay closed even if you power the machine off and on, and the end result of that will be that your film will, well, when it's not moving, will be being heated to a point that it will curl in the heater elements and cause you jamming issues as you begin to run the machine.
So this is a very important step.
Yes, it is.
After you've done the alignment, the first thing you do is come back here and...
Make sure that the mid-sill action is in the open position, Danny.
Thank you, Larry.
You're welcome. All right, the next step normally, Danny, would be to go ahead and just put the machine back together and test it. But one of the things that I want to do is I want to put it halfway back together, and then I want to show everyone how the film will go through that area now that the adjustment has been made. So having said that, the first step that we would do is we would put our rear, I'm going to put the rear cover back on this, and at the same time I'm going to go ahead and turn on my heater so they start warming up, because my adjustment's done. I want these to heat up so that when I do run my film through here to show you, you'll see that it actually is heating and sealing the film as it should. So that being said, the first step will be to put the rear cover on. Again, the rear cover goes on nice and simple. It can only go on one way, which is kind of nice because of the angles of everything. Simply sits down so, and then we will replace the 2 screws that we removed earlier. Now again, I didn't remove the guide, top guide, simply because I didn't need to. So I'm going to align everything back up here. That's my first screw, and one more toward the back. We'll put this guy in. Again, being careful not to cause a burr on your screws and that they are flush with the plate of the machine, the top
And how
plate
would
of the
they
machine.
cause that burr? By over twisting the screw?
By over torquing the screw, or by simply not putting enough pressure down on the screwdriver and allowing the bit of the screwdriver to come over the top of the screw and nick that screw. So we're all good. We've got this guide back on. Now normally I would put the next guide on and we would test it, but again, I want to show you from this side over here what I'm talking about on how the film will go through. All right, Danny, at this point what I've done is we have gone ahead and loaded the film so that I can, and left the front cover off so I can show everyone what I'm talking about as far as how the film will now run through here and not drag. It's always good to have a visual, especially when you have a situation where in reality you're not really going to see what's happening. So that's what I'm trying to provide here. It's just that mental image visual so that once the cover is back on, you know what's happening underneath the covers. Again, I'm only doing this as a quick demonstration and because I'm completely familiar with the machine. All right, so here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the machine rolling the film, and what you're going to see is that these mid-sill heating element, the bars, will move together. Of course, you can only see the front one, but they go together to give you your perfect gapping. And as the film is being pulled, what I want everybody to notice is that there will be no drag in this area. You won't see the film being jerked back or the front pulling wheels, sealing wheels, trying to yank the film forward. It'll be a nice, smooth transition. Now, we're only going to run it for a second, so get a good shot here, Danny. Here we go. All right, I'm going to inch it forward. So there's my jaw sealed, and you can see I'm pulling it through nice and even, and I'm not getting any jamming whatsoever. Now that we've got the heating element, mid-sill heating elements adjusted correctly, the heating bars adjusted correctly, and I've shown you that it is working correctly, the next step would be simply to go ahead and put the last 2 covers back on. And once again, I can't emphasize it too much, do not burr the screws or you run the risk of tearing your bags. So I'm not going to tighten it all the way because I got to get both screws in. And so once I got both of my screws in, my hands are fumbling here. All right, get both of them in quickly. And with on our particular machines, once you put the screws back in, the gap between the guides is preset, so there's no adjustment at all on that. So everything else just goes back together, and our customers will be familiar with this because that's part of the cleaning process, is to remove these covers that we've just done to clean out any food particles that get below the covers of the machine. All right, and that, as far as that's concerned, as far as the cleaning underneath of here, that's a customer issue, that procedure that they have to set themselves. They know their food better than we do, so we recommend that you clean on a daily basis. It's up to the customer to determine how they want to do that. So again, I'm just setting the guides back to where my customer had them, so that I have a nice flow through of my film. Now, if you'll notice, my backside is actually 2 back, so just a little added bonus to this video is that when you're adjusting these guides, the best thing to do is to push your film flat over the center of your track, like I'm doing right here. Okay, give you a little visual here, so that I'm even across. And then what I would do then is I would then move my guide in here so that I'm touching that. The purpose of that is that you want your film with the product in it to run straight down the track, so that in the inseal area you actually get a straight cut across your inseal. Now again, this particular setup that the customer had was not correct for this film width, so I'm going to change it for him by simply moving my guide forward. There's a couple of holes that we have, screw holes that we have, so they can move the guide in and out for the entire adjustment ability of the machine as far as width of the product. So just moving that guy forward quickly, fumbling with my hands, of course, because I'm a maintenance guy, not an operator. All right, so once I get these guys on here, again, I would just simply center my film with it being pushed down. I would tighten my guides down, so I'm gonna pretty much know where I'm gonna put it, which is right about here. Let me get this guy tightened down because I'm wasting valuable video time here. All right, so get this guy down, and there we go. So now when I run my product through, it's going to guide it nice and straight through the inseal area and give me a nice inseal seal also. Okay, the very last step that we would do as far as the adjustment, obviously, is to put everything back how you need it to run your product. The first thing that we did was to raise the top chain conveyor out of the way. So of course, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to put it back into position. Again, just a reverse of what we did. We're simply going to lower our top chain conveyor down on the track. Then we're going to loosen our retainer handle on the back side, tilt it back down so that we are nice and straight across our product. Now again, this one's not adjusted correctly, so I'm going to make a quick adjustment here. I'm going to have my brush, because the whole purpose of this is just to take air out of the bag for the customer's product. So I'm going to bring my back end up so that I'm just a little bit above my bag, because my product's going to push up. And then I'm going to come down here, and on my handle, I just simply adjust this end to give me the correct gapping across my bag, so that whenever my product runs through, I'm not pushing down on my product, I'm simply pushing down on my film material as I'm making my bag so that I get all the air out of it. We've just completed the alignment process on the mid-seal heating element bars, and we put the machine back together. Okay, our adjustments are done, so we want to test this machine to see if the end result of our work is what we want it to be. So in most cases, you run some product. I'm at a customer site, I don't have product, so I'm just going to run and make some empty bags. So to do that on our machine, I just simply press the run button, and we start making bags, Danny, and they'll start coming off the end of the machine here. And what we'll do is, I'm going to stop it now that I've made a few, okay? And what we'll see, if I look at my bag, is that I have a very nice mid-seal on my bag. See how nice and clean that is? And I don't have a bunch of bunching. All my film is nice and together like it ought to be. So I've got a good mid-seal. Now my particular customer here likes a lot of fin seal. We don't normally recommend that much, but it works for them. So for them, this is a perfect mid-seal.
So we covered quite a few things here today, and we're working on the Barrington Packaging Systems Group BPS 350 horizontal flow wrapper. So just tick off what we actually did here today on the machine that they just saw in the video.
We adjusted the mid-seal heater action. That's what we've done. And by that, what I mean is that we just simply adjusted the gapping between the mid-cell heater bar elements so that we have the correct gap so that the film goes through without bunching up or dragging through that area.
Larry, thank you so much for being on this video today. We appreciate your work, your efforts to help all of us be able to better use the BPS 350.
Danny, I hope it helps everyone. Thank you. And then that's 220.
This is 220 units per minute.
Per minute, right there. You know, you don't want. I can put some numbers on it to give a print on the thing. I don't even know what I put on there. Oh yeah, well again, our customers on this machine is sold. Okay, it's going to New York, bakery, New York. This is what they wanted. That's why it's on. We can go with video jet if you want. Can you run it? There's a set of heaters right here to right. Solenoid on each side. Okay, so you would have your maintenance guy who can do it from underneath like this. Okay. Or if you wanted to, the actual easiest way to clean the chain on this guy is from the end. I can take that cover off. It's force feasible. Cover on the end, and the chain is exposed for about a foot. So you can just inch it along and clean the chain that way. Normally what we need to do is have a red That's all he's trying to say. Same thing here. Pinch point, you put your hand in there. We don't want you doing that, obviously. These are your temperature controllers. Mid-seal, seal here, in-seal for here. And then, of course, for your... Say it again? No, those are Omron. It should be, I'm not sure if these are the Omron or...
Oh, it's,
Yeah.
geez.
Yeah. Basically, it's an Omron for lack of, for comparison. We can put any brand that you want. We can put any brand that you want on the controller in the back. You know, if you want Allen Bradley, it's an upcharge. We can give you Allen Bradley. It doesn't matter. This particular one, the customer is just on the bakery, so they want there. But it's still high quality. You can still get 2-year parts and labor warranty on any part that fails, from defect. You want to see? Is this watch down? Little rack. It's not ID. It's not ID 65 right now.
And if I want to clean the chain, crap that gets down there.
Oh, easy. Actually, let me step down here in this part of the office. All you would do to clean the chain, the easiest way is underneath the chain right here. I'm coming in out right now. Okay. So you would have your maintenance guy. He can do it from underneath like this. Okay. Or if you wanted to, the actual easiest way to clean the chain on this guy is from the end. I can take that cover off. There's 4 screws that hold the cover on the end, and then the chain is exposed for about a foot. So you can just inch it along and clean the chain that way. Normally what we need to do is put a lot of red on.
See the labels going on there. Okay, now you can come over here and look. You'll see them coming off the machine just like they should be. I'm going to throw a couple up on top here. Pretty like you can grab them anyways. Here, I'll just throw some up here. Or here you go. I'll hold one up for you. All right, so here we go. This is what you're getting right there. The label like that. All right, and as you can see, it just keeps right on rocking and rolling. Just like it ought to. There you go. Coming right off the end of the jaw, just like they're going to want it to come on. Okay. And that, by the way, is at 60 a minute.
Hi, I'm George Barney with Barrington Packaging Systems Group. I'm standing next to a BPS 350 in preparation of shipping to a customer. This customer had an interesting opportunity both on his branded product and his private label and contract packing situation, in that he did not want to go to printed film, but rather he wanted to go to a pressure-sensitive label, which currently represented most of his business. Now, as you're probably aware of, the cost of putting a pressure-sensitive label on is cost prohibitive with labor costs as high as they are nowadays. So consequently, what we did is we developed an inline labeling system that you can see here, which takes low stock labels, puts it on the film prior to going through the forming tube and the date code, goes through the forming tube, and then through the sealing areas. Here's an example of one of the labels that we put on the package. As you can see, it's probably for a 4-inch cookie. This system is eminently affordable and lends itself to our 2-year parts and labor warranty, which is indicative of all the equipment that we sell at Barrington, from vertical form and fills to flow wrappers to tuck and fold wrappers, check weighers, metal detectors, and so on. So if you're interested in keeping the artisan or unique look of your package with a pressure-sensitive label, give me a call at your earliest convenience and we'll go over the specifications of the machine that you need and the ability to do labeling inline on a BPS flow wrapper. My phone number is area code 888-814-7999, extension 1. Let me repeat that. That's 888-814-7999, extension 1. Look forward to hearing from you so that we can do 3 things for you. Lower your labor costs, lower your packaging costs, and improve your quality. You have a great day. We developed an inline labeling system that you can see here, which takes low stock labels, puts it on the film prior to going through the forming tube and the date code, goes through the forming tube through the sealing areas. Here's an example of one of the labels that we put on the package. As you can see, it's probably for a 4-inch cookie.
All right, so here we go. This is what you're getting right there. The label like that. All right, and as you can see, it just keeps right on rocking and rolling, just like it ought to. There you go, coming right off the end of the jaw, just like they're going to want it to come on. Okay.